Have you ever felt your heart racing before speaking English? Do you wish you could speak with confidence, without fear stopping you? This video is something you must definitely watch. It can change the way you speak forever. You are watching Storytime English. Here, every story teaches you something new and helps you grow with English. Let's begin. Ravi was an ordinary boy living in a small town. He always dreamed of speaking English like his favorite actors. But every time he tried, fear stopped him completely. His tongue felt heavy, and words refused to come out. Have you also faced this kind of fear in your life? Do you feel nervous when people look at you while speaking? One day, Ravi got a chance to introduce himself in class. His mind went blank, and his friends laughed softly. That night, he promised himself to never feel this pain again. He wanted to find one simple trick to defeat fear. Do you also want to know that one simple trick? Would you use it today if it could change your life? The next morning, Ravi decided to try something new. He stood in front of the mirror and looked at himself. At first, he felt strange and even started laughing. But then he realized this was the safest place to practice. Do you know why the mirror is so powerful for learning? Because it shows you how you look and sound instantly. Ravi began with small sentences like, "My name is Ravi." He repeated it again and again until it felt natural. Slowly, his fear started melting away with each practice. He felt like his mirror had become his best friend. Can you imagine how your fear would reduce if you tried this? Would you like to see yourself speaking with full confidence? After 1 week, Ravi noticed a big change in himself. He was no longer afraid to say simple sentences in English. One day, his teacher asked a question in the classroom. This time, Ravi raised his hand without overthinking much. He spoke slowly, but his words were clear and correct. For the first time, he saw his classmates listening carefully. Do you know what gave him this new courage suddenly? It was the mirror practice that built his inner confidence. Ravi understood one simple truth about fear and speaking. Fear only stays when you keep running away from practice. He realized that confidence is like a muscle inside us. The more we use it, the stronger it grows every day. Have you ever thought about training your confidence like a muscle? What small step can you take today to start building it? Ravi now wanted to test himself outside the classroom. He decided to try speaking English at a local shop. When the shopkeeper asked what he wanted to buy, Ravi hesitated. But then he remembered his mirror practice and spoke clearly. "Can I have a notebook, please?" he said with a smile. The shopkeeper understood him instantly and gave the notebook. That small success filled Ravi's heart with great confidence. He realized that speaking English in real life felt easier now. Do you see how one small action can change everything? Would you also feel proud after even one successful try? From that day, Ravi made a simple rule for himself. He would speak at least one English sentence with someone daily. Sometimes it was with friends, sometimes with strangers outside. Each time his fear reduced and his smile grew bigger. Have you tried setting a small daily rule for practice? What if just one sentence a day could change your life? After a month, Ravi felt like a different person. He no longer avoided situations where English was required. One evening, his cousin visited from the city. She spoke fluent English and always impressed the family. Earlier, Ravi would hide or stay quiet during such moments, but this time, he joined the conversation with confidence. He said, "I am learning English every day now. His cousin smiled and replied, "I can see your progress." That short exchange gave Ravi a huge sense of achievement. It showed him that even others could notice his growth. Do you see how small progress builds into bigger confidence? Wouldn't it feel amazing if people praised your effort too? Ravi learned one golden lesson through this simple journey. Consistency was more important than being perfect from day one. When you practice daily, mistakes slowly disappear on their own. But if you wait for perfection, fear will never leave. So ask yourself, do you want to wait or start? Isn't today the best day to take your first step? Ravi's teacher noticed his improvement during class discussions. She asked him, "What is your secret, Ravi?" Ravi smiled and said, "I practice daily in the mirror." The whole class looked surprised and even a little inspired. Some friends who once laughed at him now felt curious. They asked, "Does this really work? Or are you just lucky?" Ravi replied calmly, "It works because I don't give up." He explained that fear slowly disappears when you face it daily. Have you ever thought how powerful daily habits really are? Can one simple habit change your future completely? The teacher then encouraged other students to try mirror practice. She said, "This is a safe way to build confidence fast." From that day, Ravi was no longer just a student. He became an example for his whole classroom and friends. Isn't it amazing how one person's courage can inspire many? Would you like to be that person for your friends? One afternoon, Ravi visited a small library in town. He wanted to borrow English storybooks to improve his skills. At the counter, the librarian spoke only in English. Earlier, Ravi would have panicked and stayed completely silent, but now he listened carefully and replied with simple sentences. The librarian smiled and said, "Your English is very good." That one compliment gave Ravi wings of motivation and joy. He felt like every small practice was finally paying off. Have you ever felt happy when a stranger praised your effort? Doesn't it feel special when someone notices your progress? Ravi then made another rule for his personal growth. He decided to read one English page aloud every day. At first it was slow and full of mistakes in pronunciation, but soon his tongue became flexible and words flowed better. He realized speaking aloud also trained his mouth muscles daily. It felt like exercise, but this time for communication skills. Have you thought about reading aloud as a simple exercise? Wouldn't your English become stronger if you tried this today? Ravi's journey was slowly transforming not just his language, but also his confidence in life. He started to notice that people looked at him differently whenever he spoke. Earlier, he would avoid eye contact and mumble in fear, but now, he could look directly at others and express himself clearly. One evening, his father invited a family friend for dinner. The guest was a businessman who often traveled abroad. During the meal, the man asked Ravi a simple question in English. He said, "What do you want to become in the future?" In the past, Ravi would have looked down silently, embarrassed. But this time, he took a deep breath and answered confidently. He said, "I want to become a teacher and help others learn." The businessman was impressed and encouraged him with kind words. That moment became a turning point in Ravi's life. He realized that English was not just a subject in school. It was a bridge that connected him with people everywhere. It gave him opportunities that fear had always taken away. Have you ever noticed how language can open new doors in life? Wouldn't it feel powerful if you could connect with anyone easily? Ravi decided to push himself even further after that dinner. He joined a small English conversation club that met every weekend. At first, his heart raced when speaking in front of strangers. But then he remembered his mirror and reading practice. Slowly, he started speaking with more confidence and fewer mistakes. Every time he finished a sentence, people clapped and encouraged him. This positive environment gave Ravi even more courage to continue. He realized that surrounding yourself with supportive people changes everything. Do you also surround yourself with people who encourage you? Or do you stay with those who only laugh when you try? One Saturday, the group leader gave everyone a special task. Each member had to tell a short story in English. Ravi prepared all week, practicing in front of his mirror. He repeated sentences again and again until they sounded natural. When the day came, he stood up with a steady voice. He told the story of how fear once controlled his life. Everyone listened carefully and nodded as he spoke his truth. At the end, they gave him loud applause and big smiles. That day, Ravi understood the most powerful truth about confidence. It doesn't come from books, it comes from real action. Confidence grows every time you face fear and keep moving. And it shines brighter each time others respect your effort. So ask yourself right now, are you waiting for confidence? Or are you ready to build it step by step like Ravi? Ravi's confidence was now at a level he had never imagined. But he also knew one thing very clearly in his mind. He was still a learner, and learning never really ends. So he decided to make English a part of his daily life. Instead of only practicing in the mirror or club, he added more. He began watching English movies with subtitles every evening. At first, he only understood a few words here and there. But slowly, his ears became sharper and his mind faster. He started catching phrases like, "How are you?" and "That's great." Soon, he was even able to repeat small dialogues confidently. One night, he watched a movie scene with a powerful speech. The actor's words gave him goosebumps and filled him with energy. Ravi paused the movie, rewound the scene, and repeated every line. He stood tall, copied the expressions, and spoke with emotion. That practice turned into his secret training for real conversations. He realized movies were not just for fun, but also teachers. Have you ever tried repeating movie lines to train your voice? Wouldn't it feel exciting to speak like your favorite actor? The next week, his school announced a big competition. It was an English speech contest open for all students. In the past, Ravi would never even think of participating. But this time, something deep inside told him to try. He remembered his promise to never run away from fear again. He knew this was the chance to prove his growth to everyone. For days, Ravi prepared his speech carefully and with passion. He practiced in the mirror, read it aloud, and recorded himself. Listening to his own voice helped him fix mistakes quickly. He worked on his pauses, his smile, and his body language. Finally, the big day of the competition arrived at school. Students, teachers, and parents filled the large hall with excitement. Ravi's heart pounded loudly as his name was called on stage. He walked slowly, trying to control his shaking hands and legs. But as he stood at the podium, something magical happened. He saw his reflection in the shiny surface of the microphone. That reminded him of his mirror practice from the beginning. Suddenly, he felt as if he was back in his safe room. He smiled, took a deep breath, and began his speech. His voice was clear, steady, and full of confidence this time. The hall was silent, everyone listening carefully to his words. Each sentence came out smoother than the one before it. When he finally ended, the audience erupted into loud applause. His teacher stood up proudly and clapped with a big smile. At that moment, Ravi felt like the happiest boy in the world. He realized fear was not his enemy anymore, but his teacher. Isn't it true that the moments we fear most teach us the most? And if we face them, don't they turn into our greatest strength? After the competition, Ravi's life began to change quickly. Students who once laughed at him now asked for his advice. One friend came and said, "Ravi, how did you do it?" Another whispered, "I also want to speak like you someday." Ravi smiled because he understood their struggle very well. He told them, "Start small and never stop practicing daily." He explained how mirror practice gave him his first confidence, then how reading aloud helped him fix his pronunciation naturally. He also shared his secret of repeating movie dialogues at home. The friends were amazed and promised to try the same methods. Have you noticed how sharing your journey can inspire others? Wouldn't you feel proud if your success motivated your friends too? Ravi's teacher was also deeply impressed by his transformation. She recommended him for a regional English-speaking event. At first, Ravi felt nervous because the stage was much bigger. But then he remembered how every step earlier had prepared him. He said to himself, "Fear will come, but I will not stop." That sentence became his personal mantra whenever doubt appeared. The event day was grand with students from many schools. There were banners, cameras, and a panel of strict judges. When Ravi's turn came, he felt the same nervous heartbeat. But instead of freezing, he smiled and greeted everyone warmly. He began speaking about how fear controls young people's dreams. He told the story of his own struggle in simple sentences. The audience listened with interest because his story felt real. He was not showing off, he was sharing something relatable. When he ended, the hall filled with thunderous claps again. Even the judges nodded and wrote positive notes on their sheets. Ravi did not win the first prize that day, but something bigger. He won respect, confidence, and the belief that he could grow. Isn't it true that sometimes respect is worth more than trophies? And isn't growth the real prize that stays with us forever? That evening, Ravi sat quietly in his room thinking deeply. He realized English was not just about grammar or vocabulary. It was about courage, connection, and building trust with people. It was about expressing your thoughts clearly without hiding inside fear. From that day onward, Ravi stopped chasing perfection in English. Instead, he chased daily progress, no matter how small it seemed. He understood one simple trick that worked every single time. When fear comes, just face it in small steps again. That one rule kept him moving forward no matter the situation. It became his guiding light for English and for life. So let me ask you now, what step will you take today? Will you wait for confidence or start building it slowly like Ravi? Weeks turned into months, and Ravi's journey kept growing stronger. He was no longer the shy boy afraid of speaking English. He had become an example for his friends, teachers, and family. Everywhere he went, people respected his effort and determination. But Ravi never forgot the pain of his first failures. He remembered the day he froze in class and felt humiliated. That memory reminded him why he should always keep practicing. It reminded him why others also needed the same courage. So he began helping younger students in his school every evening. He taught them mirror practice, reading aloud, and daily sentences. At first, the kids laughed just like his classmates once did. But slowly, they also saw improvement and felt more confident. One child said, "I spoke to my uncle in English today." Another said, "I read a full page without stopping this time." Ravi felt proud because he was now creating a chain of growth. His small trick was helping many lives change, one step at a time. And that's when Ravi realized the greatest truth of all. Speaking English without fear is not about big secrets. It is about one simple habit done daily with courage. That habit is facing your fear instead of running away. Ravi's story proves that anyone can learn if they stay consistent. It shows that fear is not permanent, but only temporary. So the next time fear holds your tongue, remember Ravi's journey. Remember how one boy turned fear into confidence step by step. And remember this golden line: confidence is not given, it is built. Build it today, and tomorrow people will admire your courage. Now the question is only for you, my friend. Are you ready to start your own fearless English journey today? So, my friend, today you learned the one simple trick to speak English without fear. Now it's your turn to take action, not tomorrow, but today. If this video gave you value, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because sharing this with friends can also change their life. And listen carefully. If you want to avoid the biggest English mistake that even native speakers make, I have linked a special video for you. The link is in the description and also pinned in the comments. Don't skip it, watch it now, and your English will never be the same again. See you in the next video.